What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back, Sooner Surge Live on this Wednesday evening. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Chester, I saw your comment. It is warming up here, but actually today it was kind of cooler out, so we're definitely not at 96. I think next week it's supposed to get a little warmer. Really, the big news is the flip, and 918. You mentioned this 2 or 3 days ago on the live when you said, I don't like that Will Conroy's visiting UNC. I don't like it. And then boom, when Bill Belichick flips him. And I agree with you. I think he's going to be a really good player. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks that he decommitted and committed to UNC. It's a big loss. I think it's a big loss for Oklahoma in this recruiting cycle. So what's up, Braden? How you doing? By the way, I just watched Arkansas baseball. Are they cursed in the World Series or what? I mean, you all recall, what was it, 2018? They had the pop fly incident where they could have won the whole thing and dropped it. And then tonight in that ninth inning, just a total, I hate to say choke job, but that's what that was. I don't know if anybody else watched it, but first off, you have the shortstop that could have turned play to end the game, and he goes for the force out at third. Then you had the fly ball mishap in left field, just awful. I mean, you got to feel for the Hogs. Jeez, they should have won that game. So that's if you're a Hog fan, that's disappointing. Colin, who's the most underrated player from each position group? Offensive version. Ooh, okay. Yeah, the Hogs are done. They're done now. Most underrated player from each position group. Golly, that could be a lot. But let's start at running back. Whew. Man, that's a tough question, Colin. I might have to think about it. And I mean, if the chat, you can start looking at the chat, guys, and start putting your answers in there. But Colin's dropping Hawkins, Blaylock, Satania, Taylor, Huggins. I don't think you can say Hawkins is underrated, Colin. I think it's just because he's not going to play this year. I see the Huggins stuff possibly, yeah. Blaylock, true freshman. Starting to see crystal balls going in for O'Neal to FSU. Curious when that flip happens. The question, 918, that I would have would be, does that happen before there's a commitment from Bo Bentley? Because that would be interesting if he flips before anything's official with Bo Bentley saying he's committed. And, he could possibly do it just because, like, he might be tired of the OU going after Bentley and say, you know what, I'll just go to Florida State. You know who won't like that very well? A guy by the name of Kevin Sperry. How's Kevin Sperry going to feel about that? That's going to be very interesting. And there will be a lot of people out there that'll say, well, if Jaden O'Neal flips to Florida State, then that's great news for Oklahoma. I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think the Bo Bentley stuff is regardless whether Jaden O'Neal is committed to Oklahoma or not. If he flips, I don't think that means anything that for sure that Bentley's coming to Oklahoma. I think Bentley is coming to Oklahoma, but I don't think a decommitment from Jaden O'Neal means anything. Bentley's going to do what he wants to do. Chester says, who cares to Sperry? Who cares? Bye. And that's, hey, I get it. If you're not with us, you're against us, Chester, right? If you're not with the Sooners, you're against the Sooners, and he chose to go elsewhere. So it is, you know what? North Carolina, who's their O-line coach? Hunter, maybe you can look this up. I can't remember who it is. I thought it was they got a pretty good O-line coach that went there when Belichick. But if you could look that up, I mean, they were able to get Conroy flipped, and would suck to miss both. I don't think they lose both, but Purple, it wouldn't suck to miss both. You need to put a word that's worse than suck. The Elite Will Friend. Oh, that's right. Hey, Elite 11 is going on. I saw Diabell, I think, was the MVP after day one. He's the quarterback that's committed to Texas. I need to look at that and see how that's going and how the guys are doing in that. Purple Wait, let me see if I can see what's going on here. I saw the Pavia and Dion thing. I appreciate Dion's honestly. I didn't see the Dion thing. I saw Pavia on a podcast. Is that what we're talking about? Is the podcast? He was pretty I thought he was a little cocky from what I watched. Now I didn't see the whole podcast, but the clips I saw, I thought, Pavia is kind of being a little bit cocky, and you're playing some of these teams that you're kind of going at. I thought it was kind of weird, but I don't know about Germ tonight. Commish, he's on a mission trip. We'll see if he pops on. I haven't heard from him, but yeah, mid. Where do you rank him in the quarterbacks of the SEC, Benjamin? And everybody comment on this. Where do you rank him in the SEC right now, quarterback ranking wise? I don't rank him very high. Now, I did not see this. He said his son's starting no matter what. Okay, so here it is. 918 says, basically, Pavia said Dion told him no matter how good he was, if he transferred in, he wouldn't start over his son. Well, I think everybody knew that Dion was pushing the buttons there and nothing was going to change. It's not a good look, but it's Dion and it's his kid. I think that's Dion. Yes, it is what he is. Did he get a speeding ticket today, or did I miss? Maybe I saw that. Maybe that didn't happen. I don't know. One of the richest is what I think that's when I said, where do you rank Pavia? Not a great thrower. I would agree. I think he's a tough kid. I think Jimmy, absolute choke job. And I feel for him big time. Golly, I do feel for them. It was choke. 101 and a 60. So he did get a speeding ticket. That's not a good look either, man. Wow. That's not a good look. Haven't even played it down yet in the NFL. But, regardless of what you want to say about Deion Sanders or Shadur Sanders, he's going to get benefit of the doubt in a lot of things. He's going to get a little preferential treatment. He did it in the draft, and I thought that was good. You know what? He's kind of making his own bed here. And you know what they say? You make your own bed, you got to sleep in it. And he's kind of being that way, like he's better than everybody else, and I can do whatever I want. It didn't work for him in the draft. He talked to the coaches and stuff, and they didn't like it, and they just didn't draft him. Or did they not draft him on talent? Who knows? Hold up. Only a ticket? That should have been an arrest. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know. 101 and a 60 is pretty fast. He was going 144 in May. Double standard, privileged. Here we go. Yep. Not high on Shadur Sanders. Never thought he was that good. I think you're not the only one. I think there's a lot of people that think he's not as talented. Let's open those phone lines, Hunter, as Chester says. Let's open them. I'm by myself tonight, so love to have you guys' thoughts, any questions you might have. I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. You had a tornado watch in Indiana today as the Thunder are there. I did see this. Now, I'm going to switch gears just for a minute for Thunder. I read where it's Ticketmaster or something is saying that the Thunder have bought about 1 out of every 5 ticket for this. That there's going to be a lot of Thunder people at this Indiana game. So Caitlin Clark and Sophie, the new Curry Draymond, I dig it. Hey, they got to be loving it for the WNBA because it's selling more tickets. And I think it's so funny. Little soapbox here for a minute on this Caitlin Clark stuff. Any WNBA player that bashes Caitlin Clark, you're out of your mind. Anybody, she is single-handedly bringing you money into the WNBA. What you're getting paid, she's helping with that. She's bringing any ratings they have in that league. She's it. So bash her all you want. You can throw her around, foul her all the time. She's basically the face of the WNBA, whether you like it or not. And you need to like it if you're playing in the WNBA because she's keeping that thing afloat right now. So, and I'm game for it too. It's entertainment when you have that kind of stuff. $50. I haven't watched the game. I just watch it on Twitter. You don't have to watch a game. You can see it all over Twitter. I think Hunter opened the phone lines. Let me see. Maybe he didn't. I thought he did. No, did not. Let me get him in here for you. Hang on one second, guys. All right, there's the phone line for you if you'd like to call in. There it is right there. Call in. Give me a chat. I Sooner thought I know they lose a lot of money, but any money they get at all, she's helping with. So, hey, let's get to Corrections on the line. Corrections, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Jay?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Good, thanks. I wanted to call in before I started on my home drive from work. But before I get to my two questions that you gave us the homework assignment for last night, I just wanted to comment first. I'm like, why would anybody right now choose to go to North Carolina over Oklahoma? I mean, who cares if they have Belichick? I mean, they're the laughing stock of the SEC, especially with Belichick and the shenanigans of this girlfriend. Belichick's not going to be there more than a year, I don't think. I don't understand why you go there with all those distractions. I mean, I just don't understand why you'd pick North Carolina over Oklahoma, especially with the best offensive line in college football and Beatenbow. I just don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is like you are going to a team that they've got some momentum on their side, but I agree with you. I mean, Bill Beatenbow at O-line, but he probably got pretty good chunk of money. He's got NFL connections, as Thunder OU Sooner says. Well,
I know who also has NFL connections. It's one Jim Nagy, and we have a better offensive line coach. And I saw, the comment there, well, because BV is wife from, Keith, but no, BV's not the reason why he's not coming here. OU is going to win a lot more games than North Carolina. Let's keep it real. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But
yeah, but I think the also thing at UNC, what you have on your side is you're in the ACC. So like Bill Belichick, they could maybe make a playoff run. I don't think they will, but I do think Bill Belichick. I mean, if you were, this kid's 18-year-olds, right? So he was watching New England in prime of him winning Super Bowls. And now he's like, oh, I can play for this guy. So I do think Bill Belichick does help the needle a little bit.
Right. But anyways, let me get to my two questions and I'll kind of get off here. My first question is for this coming season is that I want to see, or questioning what I'm going to see, is who are going to be the leaders, the team leaders on both sides of the ball? Who's going to be those vocal leaders when let's say we're in Tuscaloosa, we're in a dogfight? Who's going to be that guy going up and down the line on the bench, on the defense side of the ball? And conversely, who is going to be that guy or two on the offensive side of the ball saying, we need to go get 7 right now. Let's do this, And I think Mateer is going to be one of those guys. But it'll be interesting to see, who else is going to be the vocal leader, vocal leaders on the offensive ball and on the defensive side of the ball. That'll be interesting to see what happens there.
That's a great question. I agree with you. I think offense is going to be Mateer. Everybody, all these national guys talking about him and his competitiveness, and you can just see it. He's going to be, I don't want to compare him to Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, but I do think he's going to be that type of guy on the sideline. I just think he will be. He's very competitive, probably emotional guy. I think he'll be very lively on the sideline. You know who I would say on defense? I would say 2 guys, Kip Lewis or RSJ.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they're going to be my 2 front runners too, but you just never know until you get in that dog fight, who's going to be the dog over there on the benches. I remember last year, we had, there was the interviews after the season was over, and Stutzman, I know a lot of the players were saying, man, we would go out there, we would force a fumble or we get a pick, and our offense would go over there, and 2 plays later, we're right back on the field because we would throw a pick right back or 3 and out, and they'd get real frustrated. And Stutzman was over there, saying, hey, it's our job to freaking go out there and stop these guys, even when they were starting to get down and doubt and, figure we're not going to win this game. And they still went out there and played their butts off. So it's, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to take that Stutzman role. It's big shoes to fill.
Huge shoes to fill. Good stuff. Correction. That's huge shoes to fill. That's a great question to start us off with, man. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it, Corrections.
Yeah. And one more question, my second question, real quick. So I'll preface this with I listened to a podcast like 3 days ago. It was the SEC. What was it? The SEC podcast with Mike and Shane.
Mike, yep.
Yeah, and they were ranking the SEC home fields to have as a home field advantage as far as once you get in the stadium, how intimidating basically is it. And they both had just nothing but positive things. And as when it comes to the SEC, I've never heard one place say anything negative about OU once you get in the stadium. The atmosphere is amazing. Mike had us ranked number 7, Shane had us 8 or 9, but they both had us above like Texas and Alabama and some other really good stadiums that I was kind of surprised, but I've never been to those stadiums. And so I don't know there's much we can do, before this year, but it's kind of looking forward to the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years is what can we do to have our stadium, our game day atmosphere to be a top 3 in the SEC? Because it's what's frustrating to me is seeing Texas with over 100,000 seats, A&M with over 100,000 seats. And we have this list long as my arm, with people that are waiting for season tickets. We could get more students in there. If we had 103,000 seats in that stadium, we could absolutely fill them every single Saturday. And I think that's one place to start. And I don't understand why we're quite not doing that yet, but I would just love to see us kind of have a plan to be like, I just want Oklahoma to be the Palace to where it's like, dang, it's kind of like LSU at night, dang, we got to go there at night and play OU. It's going to be just crazy. And it's already a really good atmosphere, but I just like to see us, when people talk about those really just intimidating games to go and play somewhere on a Saturday night where Oklahoma's at the top of the list like LSU.
Oh, that'd be great if they could do that in the next few years and kind of get the wild, crazy atmosphere that some of those schools have. That'd be awesome. And I don't know what the answer is, Corrections. Maybe it is more seats. I don't know what you do with students because I think that could be part of the issue sometimes, but who knows, man? It's a great, great question, though, to talk about. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Hey, have a good, safe travel home, man. Thanks for calling in. I really do appreciate it, man. Let's get to Chester. I think Chester's on the line as well. Chester, what's up?
Hey Jay, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. You?
Yep. I rewatched the show last night on my lunch break, and people were talking about who threw the best deep ball. A lot of people didn't seem to mention Jason White's bombs that he used to throw.
I saw your comment on that. And I didn't even think about White last night doing the show, and I would agree with you. His deep ball was unbelievable.
Yeah, when it came to his bombs, his were phenomenal. And but I think the best 2 throws I've ever seen in OU history. One is obviously the Caleb Williams off his right foot throw to Mims with the miracle catch.
Yeah.
But I think the one closest to it might be even better was from Landry Jones, and I trash him all the time. But I want to say it was 2012 on the road to UTEP. Landry Jones rolls out to his left, almost near the numbers, and then throws it back to his right like it was a 60-yard perfect spiral zipped bomb on the right side of the sideline. That was probably the best throw I've ever seen. Hope you all get to see that one day. Because I never expected that from him. It was wait a minute, you got this much talent and you lose this many games?
Well, his problem, Chester, was
it was a mental thing for him.
Yeah, mental, and he wasn't the best at feeling pressure, around. Like when they got anybody in the backfield, he just wasn't good at feeling the pressure to get rid of it. I think that was when he really struggled. But
yeah, I remember when Heupel was his QB coach, he would really yell at him and get frustrated with him.
Yeah, he had a great arm, great cannon.
But if y'all ever get a chance, look that up. That throw was absolutely incredible. And one other thing before I go to work, the answer to last night's trivia was Jared Harris, the Rev, not Sunshine.
Oh, on Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
So did they call him the Rev first?
I think so, yeah. But really? Yeah. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too, Chester. Have a good one, man. Hey, one of the most, I think I would say personally, the best throw I've ever seen in person. Okay, at the game. And because you have to take into consideration when it was in the game and what was on the line, To me, my best throw I've ever seen at OU was Kyler Murray to Calcaterra, the little drop ball right over his shoulder. He had to one-hand it. I get it. But that was tight coverage, and I think it might have been like, gosh, I want to say it was like 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 12. It was a big play of that game. And he dropped a dime in there, really the only place you could put it. And he made a great catch. Geez, that was a great catch. But that to me was the best one I've seen in person. That's a great question too. If there's one you've seen better, I'd love to know it. I was at the game when Landry Phil Ogren badly ball out of bounds against Texas. I remember that. Jones was not very much. Yeah, he was a great thrower of the ball. He just wasn't the most mobile and not very good at, I think, some of the mental aspects of reading defenses and stuff. Kyler, freakish, absolute freak. His ball too. It is so cool when you're in the stadium and you watch some great quarterbacks play. You know how it is. I mean, y'all have all been there in the stadiums. That you can just look at a dude, throw a couple of balls, and be like, okay. I've seen enough. This guy's different. Kyler was one of those guys. The zip he had on the ball, I mean, unbelievable. And he had it, man. Everything that you wanted, he had it. But yeah, the ones Chester mentioned are all good. Both those are good. I just think the Kyler one I saw, man, and he would throw. Hey, his deep balls running. He would throw some ropes down there. Just unbelievable. Yeah, I agree, Mesh. Way too many sacks. I saw Sooner-Thron earlier drop some guys in here that he thought might be vocal leaders, and I would agree with him. I would agree with Sooner-Thron. I would agree with Everett on the O-line. Also, R. Mason Thomas, last year he got a little vocal sometimes near the end of the season. This is kind of his time, and I think he might take a step up. Guys, I want to ask you on the O-line. I want to ask you this question because we've talked about potential lineups and who it might be, starting lineup for the O-line. There's a couple guys I'm extremely high on. And last year they got to play and some people were like, oh, they're not ready or they had some mistakes. Guys, it was their first year to play, but I am still high on Logan Howland. I know there's not a lot of people that are. I think he's got a lot of upside, okay? The other one would be Heath Ozida. Heath Ozida, to me, the more he plays, he's going to get better and better. I think he's got the size. I think he's got the tools to be good down the road. I think last year they made a mistake and they should have played him a little earlier on than they did. They were trying to play the guys that were kind of battling through injuries. And I think if they would have played him a little earlier, he would have had even more experience and really been better at the end of the year. But both those guys, I'm not ready. I think both those guys have some very good upside for this O-line. We'll see what happens this year and kind of what the lineup is, but I like both those guys. Do you say, whoa, hold up. Did you say Everett would have a pro career? Me? No, I've never said that. Ever. Ever. I don't think he will, Chief. In fact, over the last year and a half, I've been probably the one that's probably been more against Everett playing more than others. Now, 918, I agree with this too. I like Autry Dent. I do. He's another guy last year. There is absolutely 0.0 reason. Let me say it again. 0.0 reason why Spencer Brown played over any other guy on that tackle side, over Dent, over other guys. You say experience all you want. If you can't do the job, experience gives you nothing. I could hire a guy at work that's worked a job for 20 years. Doesn't mean he's going to be a great employee. Sometimes I think the experience stuff is overrated because take it in your job. You can't just hire a guy with great experience. They might not do the job very well. Sometimes you have more talented people that haven't worked the job. So it's not all about experience. But he has all the tools to be great. Yeah. O-line finally has very competitive. I agree with this, Mess. I think I agree. It's going to be some battles to see who's going to get those positions. for the first few games. I think it's going to be some very good battles. Bill Beatenbow is going to have to coach his butt off and figure out the best 5 guys and get them picked earlier on in the season this year. Can't be strolling into game 4 or 5 trying to figure out the O-line. Too late at that point. It's got to be done earlier. The quarterback that y'all brought up earlier, talking about best quarterback, best throw you've seen in person. How about the best play you've seen in person? Because that's a little different than throw. Can you think of the best play you've seen in person at a game? Best play. And it doesn't have to be like best as far as in, wow, that was a great play. Maybe it was the timing of it, maybe all together. But let's get to Colin's question. Do you think high school quarterback recruiting has become less critical to team success given the recent I don't think so, Colin. I think portal is very important. It's changed things, but I still think if you can find a great high school quarterback and recruiting them, I think it can help you for 3 years in a row. If you're 2 or 3 years in a row, if you get the good one. Roy Williams, Superman. Man, I wish I was at that game. Baker to Shepherd in Tennessee. Hey, let me say this. I watched some of the baseball, and Hunter, other people that watch baseball may know more about this to me. But I watched some baseball. And I want to do this because then I'm going to go into football. It's kind of tie together. So bear with me. I'm going to try to tie this together. Baseball, I love it when you see pitchers doing this. I love this. When they're looking at the catcher and they're shaking them off or changing the call, I love it. Because I think, maybe I'm wrong, but Hunter doesn't Skip Johnson call every pitch for OU? I mean, doesn't he call the pitches? It's because I like it when the players, and this is where I'm transitioning to football. If you saw John Gruden today with the whole video about clapping, quarterbacks, he wants to ban clapping for quarterbacks. He doesn't like it. He wants them out there. He wants them out there pointing where guys need to be. I think we've kind of lost it. In football, I think we've lost it at the quarterback level. I think too many coaches are calling everything. And sometimes that's great, but I also think for developing quarterbacks and pitchers, and Skip calls every pitch, I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake. You know why? Do you know why I think that's a mistake? Here's why. And I think it's a mistake for a quarterback too. If I'm a pitcher and I'm out there, he's telling me to throw a curveball, and I'm thinking, man, I know right now I got this heater. I'm going to get it up to 98. I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling my curve. I just think there's so much into it that the pitcher or the quarterback, they need to have a little more input. It doesn't just mean you're going to run this. I kind of miss the old days where quarterbacks would walk up the line of scrimmage, might change an audible. I think those guys, they're few and far between now. It just doesn't happen much anymore. Everything's done from the sideline. Now, I'll say this. A lot of times, Lincoln Riley, maybe Arbuckle, some of these coaches, they do see more from the sidelines. They might see stuff that works. I agree. And I'm not saying every time it needs to be against the quarterback. But I think quarterbacks and pitchers need to be able to have almost like not kind of like an override, like, hey, I don't like that. I like this pitch better. Because I think, you get some of these pitchers and maybe they're feeling a certain pitch. Quarterbacks maybe seeing something differently on the field. And I know there's interaction. That's why it's very important to have a really good quarterback coach. And OU didn't have it. I mean, we talked about this last year. Who's Jackson Arnold or Michael Hawkins last year going to go to the sideline and talk to? You going to go talk to Seth Luttrell? You going to go talk to Joe John Finley? I don't even remember the guy at the end of who was the guy they hired at the end of the year? God, last year was wild. Who was the guy at the end of the year? They brought on. I'm just saying, Kevin Johns. Thank you, Hunter. If you have a really good relationship, I do think it matters. And I listen, Sooner Throne. I know Skip Johnson knows way more than me on baseball. I'm just saying, Kyson Witherspoon. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I think, suggest it. But if they want to go throw something else, I kind of think you got to let them. But Okie Brave, thanks for joining us. And I said, I think quarterbacks should call their own plays. I think it should be a mixture. I think coach can call it, but if the quarterback is thinking, okay, I'd rather run this, and I think you got to give quarterbacks a way to audible out of it. I don't think it's as much in this day and age. I don't think they let them as much. The link to call in, I'll drop it in there again. I dropped it in there once. I thought I pinned it, Colin, but I'll drop it in there again for you. Yeah, Johns is Oklahoma State's quarterback coach now. Correct. Same person who decided not to have a DC this year. Yeah, that would be a Brent Venables decision. And I don't know how you could hire Seth Luttrell and not have a quarterback coach. It's baffling. Remember, analysts last year, it was different. You could have as many analysts as you wanted. They didn't even have an analyst out there really to help quarterbacks that knew what they were doing. So what's up, Mark? Look at Mark. He's in the Bahamas just enjoying life, probably sitting on the ship. Maybe he's on a beach somewhere, some beach somewhere. That's where Mark's at, and he's probably getting ready for the Thunder tomorrow. I know he came on the last show after the Thunder won, so thanks, Mark, for joining us, man. It's truly unbelievable. Chief, last year, some of the stuff that happened was unbelievable. I still can't fathom it. It's mind-boggling. I think we got a call on the line. Let me see. Yeah, we got Colin. What's up, Colin? How are you, man?
What's up? How are you?
You know, I'm doing all right. Ready for Game 6, man, tomorrow night.
Yeah. But to answer your first question that you asked a minute ago about best moment you've seen in person, mine definitely has to be the Dylan Gabriel to Nick Anderson, OU Texas, because I was in the band during that time, so it was like right in front of me.
Oh, wow.
When that happened, because I remember when Texas went up with a minute left, I was like, okay, we can still come down. The whole time I was just looking at the big screen because everyone was in front of me and I was kind of in the back, so I couldn't really see. And just remembering, I remember my reaction. I wasn't even able to say anything. I was stunned.
In awe. I mean, that was a drive now.
Kind of did that just happen in front of me? Did we really just in a minute drive all the way down?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
The best moment from that was coming up to the OU Texas game when Brent Venables was asked if you can prepare for those moments.
Oh,
and he was like, "Oh yeah, you can prepare for that in practice." And then we hit that moment, and we execute it. But yeah, other than that,
that's a great one. I mean that the timing of that when it was at the end of the game. I mean, it's hard to beat that one. And it wasn't just a amazing throw. I mean, it's just it was just timing.
And then the fact that Walter Rouse picked up two people.
Yeah, that's right.
With one. Wait, was that just like a miscommunication on a blocking assignment, or?
I think probably so, and he just stepped up and did what he had to do to get in the way at that point.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been looking at the On3 Monday mailbag, and they normally post questions that I was just gonna ask you to see what your thoughts are.
All right, rapid fire, man.
So one of them was OKC related, but what has been the best moment of the finals so far, or have we had a defining moment yet?
Best moment to me for the Thunder was Game 4 when they were down and they came back and got the win. That was it. But then right behind it is J-Dub. J-Dub Game 5. I mean, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, and then. I know there was. Do you think Nagy has signed off on all recruit offers, saying yes, continue recruiting?
Oh, I think Nagy has. Yeah, that's his job. I think he's all in on that. He's
related to that, do you think he's rejected any of the offers saying terminate contracts?
Hey, I would say this, Colin. I think anything with any player that's going to be coming on to OU's team involves evaluating talent. I think he's the end all on it. I think he has say in all of it.
Yeah. I know there was.
see. That's
good.
why I would say. I think Nagy's in on everything with player personnel and scout.
Yeah, this one was a good one. Are there any players you can see that post spring were not quite ready for serious snaps this coming season, but if they put in the work over the summer, could push for serious playing time? Which is talking mainly about guys with the talent, but size/speed/conditioning were not quite ready.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about that. I'll think about that one the rest of this live. That's a good question. Let me think about that. Do you have one in mind though?
I'm trying to think of players who were like right on the cusp of being good, just needed. I feel like most of the online, just because they just needed experience and like time to develop because they were like young.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
Yeah, I'll
been,
think. I'll think about it here as we go the next 10 or 15 minutes to see if I can get a good answer for you. But,
and then my last question is there any 2025 OU football achievement that you would gladly accept in exchange for Thunder Game 6 and Game 7 losses?
wait, so you're just saying if the Thunder lose Game 6 and Game 7,
Yes.
would I accept what?
Is there any OU football achievement, like a national championship,
Oh,
in return to lose Game 6 and Game 7?
If the Thunder lose Game 6 and Game 7, it's whatever as long as OU wins a national championship. And I'm a big Thunder fan, but I am more of an OU football fan. I wanted a national championship for the Thunder. Period. I mean, for the Sooners. But Colin, they're not losing Game 6 and Game 7, so I don't think we have to worry about it, bro.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at. If we lose Game 6, you kind of hate being that Game 7, backs against the wall, anything could happen. But I don't think we would lose at home.
Yeah, I don't either. So
like that. But what do you think needs to go right for OKC to win Game 6? Because we know Halliburton's probably going to play, but be limited on.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't buy a lot of that because remember Murray for Denver did the same thing. They were like, I don't know, and he scored like 25 points against the Thunder.
Aaron Gordon did the same thing going into Game 7 with his hamstring.
Yeah. So I think he's going to play. I expect Indiana to play well. Here's the key for the Thunder tomorrow night to win the game. Thunder got to shoot the ball like they did at home. They can't go shoot really bad from three. They got to shoot the ball well. If they do that, I think they win. And your big three stars have to show up on the road.
Yeah, that was going to be my big three keys to victory are bench scoring. The big three, Chet, J-Dub, and Shea have to have good games. And just get turnovers off points.
Yeah.
And that's been like the biggest factors because Game 5 was exactly almost like Game 1, except we weren't capitalizing as much on those turnovers as much as what we did.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I think, man, I'm ready.
I think Game 4 was definitely the turning point with that comeback.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then the more I look at it, the more I think of this series being like the Denver series. Even Game 5.
It is very, very similar. Let's hope it doesn't go 7 now.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't go 7. They finish this thing off.
We'll have to do a parade live stream or like have a meetup.
We'll have to, man. That'd be
Would
elite.
you come out to a championship parade?
Depends on when it is. I leave for vacation, so if it's before that, possibly. If not, I won't be able to. So we'll see. But hey, thanks, Colin. Appreciate the call, man. Have a good night. Couple of things on here that I'm seeing. So I did see it. I don't remember who put it out, and maybe Hunter can find out, but I did see a few things on Twitter about the Elite 11, and I did think I saw Bentley around 5 or 6, but Bell, I think, was number 1, the quarterback out of this committed to Texas. And you know what? I'm going to be flat out honest. I haven't watched much of him, but a lot of hype. So he must be really, really good. I'd like to go watch a little bit of him to see where he is as far as skill level. I mean, he's got to be the best. I mean, everybody's talking highly of him. So I think he's really, really dang good. So Bentley is 50-50. Soonerthron says, what's the crystal ball saying? Mark's asking. And then Soonerthron said 50-50. You know what? Honestly, guys, I thought he would have committed by now. After he took the OU visit, he took an LSU visit, he took the OU visit. I'm wondering when he's going to decide. So, yeah, I don't know. He's a stud. 918 says he's a stud. That's what I figured based off all the people talking about him. I need to go watch him. Now this is a fair assessment here. After the Jackson Arnold does the Elite 11 anymore, it may scare you away from it if you're an OU fan. It may scare you away from the Elite 11 to see. Maybe you don't want Bentley doing great. But you know what? As 918 says, during his interview, he said OV's just made it harder. So, you know what that would tell me? 918, just my opinion, Jason's opinion, which isn't much, that would tell me that the LSU visit really, they really put on a great visit, because I thought he was probably leaning OU before the visits. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. I just think with the Arbuckle stuff, that's interesting. Yeah, and this is true. I mean, it's overrated. I agree with you, especially after watching Jackson Arnold last year. I think it's a very overrated thing. That's it, Sooner-thron. There's not. There's a lot that haven't. So, in fact, I'd love to see a statistic. Maybe that's going to be my homework tonight, is I'm going to go look to see Elite 11 quarterbacks and how they've been drafted in the NFL. I may go do that tonight. I think I will after I get off here. I'm going to go see it, see if I can come up with something for tomorrow night. Hey, everybody, appreciate it. Appreciate you joining me tonight. Couple of things. Check out the Fan Stop, thefanstop.com, code SURGE, 10% off your first 3 months. You have one more day, I think, to sign up to get your July shirt. As Kevin was on here yesterday mentioning in the chat that he has some great designs coming up in August and September. So sign up. Just a great company. Please do it. Not for us, just for you to get a great shirt. It's elite. So the other thing is this. Tomorrow night, we all know it's Thunder Game 6. That game tips off at 7:30. That game will probably end about 10:15. We usually go live at 10:30 after that. But if the Thunder win, it might be a little later than that. Haven't figured it out yet. Germ's gone. We'll see what we're going to do. We'll have something, but I don't know what time yet. So we'll just kind of see. But bear with me tomorrow night. It's a big one. Thunder could become the world champions. The world champions, Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's hope it happens. Hey, and 918, I see your comment. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. That's right. And yeah, got all the alcohol ready. You're ready, Purple. But yeah, appreciate everybody joining me tonight. It's been fun. It's been good talking sports as always with y'all. Y'all keep it running in the chat, and I appreciate it. And you know what? We're going to do this again tomorrow night. Late, but it'll be fun. And let's hope the Thunder get the W. Hey, we will talk to you tomorrow night. Everybody have a safe Thursday. See you then.